Right, in part 4 of the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 service videos, I demonstrated how to adjust the slack on the clutch cable. And after I'd done it and actually published it, it occurred to me that really that was only half the job, because all clutch cables do need to be lubricated, and it's something that I've not shown you before. Now, as far as I'm concerned, when clutch cables are made, they're never lubricated, and they don't appear to be lubricated when they're fitted to the bike either. The reason being is that they have a special plastic lining inside the sheath that the cable actually runs in, and this in itself sort of acts as a lubricant, allowing a smooth operation of the clutch cable. The problem is the clutch gets a lot of use. On, say for example, a 50-mile run, that cable will be actuated hundreds of times, and that plastic liner inside the cable sheath actually wears quite quickly. In fact, I would say that clutch cables are possibly the most neglected item on anyone's bike. A smooth clutch cable takes some of the pressure off your hand when you're changing gear. It aids rider comfort and cuts down on fatigue. And 10 minutes once a year to properly lube this cable up not only keeps everything running smoothly, but it helps to make that cable last longer. Proper and regular lubrication also protects the cable from moisture and stops corrosion building up. Now, using a proprietary clamp type cable oiler, this job is really easy, and it's exactly the same whether you have a Triumph T120, a bobber, a Speed Twin, or any bike with a cable operated clutch. It is necessary to free the cable at both ends, both at your clutch end and at your lever end, but you don't have to remove it from the bike. So really it is only a 5 or 10 minute job. Now, these cable oilers you will see on Amazon, and I will leave a link to the one that I use, but take your pick which one you use because they're all pretty much the same, just the prices vary slightly. It's just a clamp with 2 thumb wheels and a specially designed rubber or silicone rubber insert. These are designed to be used with aerosol lubricants, and although there are specific lubricants for lubricating cables, usually a graphite based lubricant, it really doesn't matter what you use. A lot of people like to use chain lube, that's fine. I like to use white grease because it's not only a good lubricant, it's also really good at protecting against water ingress. Whatever you use, make sure that it is a fairly thick lubricant. GT85 and WD-40 in my mind are too thin, so using those wouldn't provide you with an awful lot of benefit. And at one end of this cable oiler there's a small hole for you to fit the nozzle of a spray lubricant can into it to ensure that the lubricant goes into the cable. Right, I'm quickly going to go through it. This is a really simple procedure. Down at your actual clutch actuator, make a note of where your adjuster is actually adjusted to. On my Interceptor, it was actually at its tightest setting, which made this part really easy. Undo your locking nut and unscrew it all the way. At your other end, the lever end, again, slacken the cable right off. And then back at the clutch end again, just remove the cable nipple from the actuator. Back at the lever, unscrew your adjuster all the way out until you can remove your cable from the lever. And then the actual adjuster itself will just pull out and can be removed from the cable and the cable sheath. Put that to one side. Now, you'll see on your cable oiler at one end it's nearly all blocked off apart from just a little tiny hole. That's the part that the actual cable itself goes through. The other end is wide open. Now, the wide open end goes onto the ferrule that holds the end of the cable sheath together. Push it on as far as it will go and then slide your cable through the slit in the side of the rubber and position it so that the cable is sticking out of that little hole at the blocked off end of the rubber. Then sequentially with both thumb screws, tighten them up as far as you can possibly get them. This is important because you need a fairly decent seal, otherwise your lubricant's going to be squirting out all over the place. The one I have actually isn't that brilliant, so it might be worth having some workshop wipes or something handy to hold them over the entire thing while you're putting the lube in to catch any that escapes. Now, with whatever lubricant you're using, you do need one with a straw nozzle on the end. When you've given it a good shake up to make sure that it's mixed in well, insert that straw nozzle into the hole in the side of your cable oiler. And then it's just a matter of squirting it. 3 or 4 squirts should be all that's needed. Stop when it starts to come out of the bottom of the cable. And that's your cable lubed. Then it's just a matter of putting it all back together again and adjusting your cable slack. Put your clutch lever adjuster back onto the cable, making sure that it's seated properly, and then fit your clutch cable back into your clutch lever. Screw your adjuster back into the clutch lever bracket and screw it in all the way. This will give you maximum slack. And it should be enough slack down at the clutch end to pop that nipple on your cable back onto the clutch actuator. When you've done that, screw your adjustment locking nut all the way back on and position it so that your clutch adjuster is back where it was. Now, this isn't too critical. A couple of millimeters isn't going to make an awful lot of difference because we're going to adjust it at the clutch again. Back at your clutch lever, start to back the adjuster back out, and then using a steel rule or something similar to that, adjust it so that you have 2 to 3 millimeters slack, just as I showed you in part 4 of the service guide. Make sure that you clean up any surplus lubricant that may have sprayed onto the engine and any other part of the bike. It can be a little bit messy sometimes. And then with your bike on its centre stand, start it up and just very gently go through the gears to make sure that your clutch is operating correctly and that your gears are engaging as they should, changing up and down a couple of times, also ensuring that neutral engages easily. And that's it, the bike's good for another year. Now, for you guys in India, I know that in some regions you have really wet seasons. During the wet seasons, it might be necessary to perhaps do this once a month if you're riding the bike a lot in the rain. And that's basically all there is to it. Now, I'll leave a link for the white grease in the video description down below. I'll also leave a link for the cable oiler that I use. Now, I'm going to be quite honest, this is a Sealy one. I bought it quite some time ago when it was in a flash deal on Amazon, and it was pretty cheap. It wasn't much different from the price of others. It's now round about the most expensive on Amazon. It's about £11, and to be quite honest, I don't think it's worth the money. They are all pretty much the same. You can pick them up for around about £5, and I'll let you choose if you're looking for one which one to go for, but I'll leave a link and then that will point you in the right direction for looking at the other makes that are available. Right, so that's it for this week. I'll be back next week. I think we're going to be looking at some Motone stuff. Once again, thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I will be back next week, so until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.